Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about changing the values of exposure, contrast, brightness and the gamma correction in Photoshop. So let's learn it. So here we got this photo of a wild tiger, but this photo is shot in a lot of shadows and darkness, so there are less light. So we just need to create an adjustment layer for exposure first and just increase the value of exposure by moving the slider control here. You can also do some gamma correction and change the value of brightness and contrast as well. Next, you need to create one more layer for brightness and contrast and increase the value of brightness and decrease the value of contrast to make your photo look distinguishable and vibrant. So here you can note here the entire image has been enhanced with the change of exposure, the contrast and the brightness levels, but sometimes there could be a scenario that we want to increase the contrast and exposure only for a certain segment of the photo. So how you can do that, you will learn now. There could be different techniques. You can use a various selection tool to make a selection of a segment in your photo, and you can partially increase the value of exposure or add any adjustment layer, be it dark, a gradient map, anything. Okay, so we will be using the lasso tool, and here the magnetic lasso. Magnetic lasso will select our subject sometimes automatically and almost perfectly well. So here we just need to select this subject. Here we got this tiger that is in dark color. So what we will do here, we will just select this tiger and apply the adjustment layers for exposure and contrast just to this tiger, but we will keep the background in the dark. Okay, so we want to highlight just this tiger. So you can do with different kind of photos or anything like that. You can apply. You can also apply the value change of the darkness or adjustment layers in gradual form. Say for the tiger, this is the main subject, it is in center. We can increase its contrast or exposure to a certain level, and we can add some buffer layers in between. The buffer layer is nothing, just you got 2 or 3 layers of the same image, and you can gradually change it will look like a light is coming out of this tiger and aura would feel like, but it will look dramatic. You keep it real, just select this thing, make the selection object. Once you are done with the selection and the moving ant is there, just add an adjustment layer, and here you got this mask. So now if you increase the value, change the value of anything, say increase or decrease, it will only affect this selection. So here we have selected this tiger, it will uniformly affect this. But there could be scenarios as well where you want to change certain areas even of the tiger. Say if you want to highlight his tiger's eyes and keep the mouth in the same level, same brightness level that was earlier, so you can also do so. So here you learned about creating adjustment layer for exposure, brightness and contrast. Also you learned how to make a selection and apply selective exposure and selective contrast. So just make a selection, apply all the value of properties, any adjustment layer to the area that you want. So if you are not satisfied with the selection and the change of values, you can reapply and try to make a selection once more time. Or my tip is here that don't go for extreme values for exposure, contrast or brightness. Keep it in the mid range. Try on your own, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating hue, saturation adjustment layer in Photoshop. So there are different ways to create an adjustment layer. You can right click from the layer panel, or you can go to the adjustment panel and select an option. So here we are going to select a hue option, and we want to change the color of this photo. So by default it is set to custom, and when we change the value of hue, all the colors in the photo will be affected. So here we can change the colors to red, blue, green and different spectrum of colors, so it will affect everything. So here you are learning to apply the hue in different ways. So it's better to create a replica or duplicate layer of the same photo. So here we have applied one adjustment layer, and now we are going to clear another adjustment layer. So here this is next adjustment layer, and here we want to just affect the blue section of the photo. So you can change the value from custom to blue, and then you can slide the value of hue, so it will only affect the blue components on your photo. So here on the right hand side we got this blue colored wall, and we can change the value of blue. Okay, we can make it light blue, we can make it dark blue, we can make it green, red, anything, and it will only affect this particular wall. It won't affect this cream and a white ceiling. Okay, and when we change the value in the custom setting, it will affect all the colors. Remember, each photo has three basic data for about pixels: RGB, red, green, and blue values. So only blue values will be affected in this way. You can choose red, cyan, green, yellow, and different thing as well from a photo. So if you have a photo which have clear distinguished colors, you can choose the setting for blue, yellow, and changing the value of different hues, or go to the default. So here we have this painted wall. So just imagine we are running a painting company, and here we paint different walls. So we have shot this photo for two different colors, and now we want to create different shades. There are two ways rather to paint the walls again and again with different colors, and this would be a costly and time taking approach. Rather than, we can open a Photoshop, create different hue adjustment layers, and change the value of the wall colors in different shades. Okay, this way you can decide which color to go. So your clients or the customers and everyone would have option to choose a color combination. So here, and they would have an idea how it will appear. So here we are changing the value of this cream component. Try to make it purple. Sometimes you can make it red or pink or yellow, and try to keep different shades. You can create different adjustment layers and save it for the reference purpose, and you can change. You can also sample a particular color. You can use this eyedropper tool in the adjustment layer as well, and sample a particular color and change its value. Okay, so it is advisable when you have to decide, when you have a certain photo and you have to edit in different ways using the color combination, so you can create a palette out of it. Okay, this is just a palette, the option of different colors, and you can decide which one to go. So you have to save it in the Photoshop file. Don't save it in JPEG or PNG, that because they are the images, and you want to have all the adjustment layer information intact. So for those who don't know about the difference between the Photoshop PSD file and the JPEG, it is simple. A JPEG file is just an image, it's a single layered image. Okay, all layers are combined into a single image. You cannot re-edit anything that is already edited. Okay, because all the edited information and the data about adjustment layers and different layers are lost. Simply all the mask and everything is lost. In order to keep it safe for the future edits, you have to save it in Photoshop file. So here we are creating different adjustment layer, and we can export each individual photos by changing adjustment layer, the visibility mode. Okay, you can keep the black and white color as well. Take any different photo of a room. This is a simple room. You can take anything. You can take a bungalow. You can shot anything. You can change the value of colors, the cars. You can decide, and you can change the colors using these hue adjustment layers. In a similar way, you can also create different adjustment layers like black and white and different other layers, gradient map, and you can combine those layers to create a master art piece. Okay, so once you are done setting all the adjustment layer, just simply turn the visibility mode on and off for having a look over what various color options or the color palette that you created for this wall. So try to create this on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friends. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating a thermal camera in a photo. So let's start. So here we got a photo with a few monkeys sitting on the mountain cliff, and you can use any selection tool to select the area that you want to change the color. So here let's make a quick selection using this quick selection paintbrush, and here we got the selection of a few monkeys. You can create a mask here, you could change the background to grayscale or add any adjustment layer, but here we will be using the gradient map to allow the change in colors. So what is a thermal camera? Thermal camera or a heat map is an image that has different colors that show that uh, cool colors are represented in green and blue shades, and the warm colors are represented in red and yellow. So here you just need to go to adjustment layer, and last option is the gradient map. And here we got different options. You can set the blue and yellow duotone. You can set duotone for orange and different color. You can also choose your own custom color as well. Here you can create a black and white poster as well, and a different thing. So for creating a thermal camera, we would be going with a rainbow option. And as you can see here, the monkeys are colored in the red and the warm colors because they are mammals and the warm-blooded animals. And the background is in the cool color, the blue and the purple, and the ground is in a mix of normal colors in the between. So here the thermal camera looks natural and realistic. Sometimes in different photos it won't be realistic because this is not a real thermal camera photo, but you can create using gradient map. So this was an easy approach to creating a heat map. Try creating your own thermal photos and practice with different stocks. So till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about creating a selected color effect in Photoshop. So let's start. So here we got an image with a few tropical fruits, guava kept in the background. Here we got a beautifully chopped guava in the center, and we can add the grayscale adjustment layer and change the value of individual colors. So once you increase the value say of the yellow color or decrease the value of yellow color, the component kept in yellow color will be in dark, otherwise it will be bright. So this is how you set the gray scale adjustment layer. But first we are going to create a mask here. So you can use any selection tool. I'm using the quick selection tool, and just hold the left mouse click and just drop over the selection. So next we want to change the color of the background of this photo other than the selected area to be black and white. So we have selected this component, and we need to just right click and invert selection. So this way just right click, select invert. So this way we have selected everything else other than this cut banana, and when we hit the grayscale adjustment layer, it will convert everything into grayscale. Next we can change the value of individual colors, like intensity of the green and the yellow colors, because the fruits are outer layer of the fruits are generally in yellow and green color. We can make it more intense black or intense white depending on your choice. And we just have this pinkish cut, beautifully cut guava kept in the center with the pink color. So this black in the background, black and white in the background, and the red color, and you can have any color. Here we are using the red color, will keep more emphasis on the photo. It will add to narrate your story, your photo in a different way. So for Instagrammers and everybody who do this kind of photo edits, this is the effect that you can do very easily in Photoshop. Try to do this thing on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about channel mixer adjustment layer in Photoshop. So let's learn about this. So here we got an image of a forest road that has a lush green and dense forest in the monsoon season. So here we want to just create some adjustment layer. Just create an adjustment layer for the channel mixer, and you can change the value of the channel mixer just like this. So here you got the slider control, and you can change the value of any color. Here we got the green color. If you want to change the value of the green color, you can make it a little bit yellow so that it will feel like it is an autumn season. So you have to adjust a combination of these three colors. So it's better to reduce the intensity of red, change the value of green, turn it more vibrant, and make the blue, keep the blue in the midtones. So here we got this, all the color, green color has been changed to the vibrant yellow color, and the road, paved road, is now more black and look decent. So here in this technique we can simply change any photo that is shot in the monsoon season and the rainy season, the lush green climate, into an autumn season climate. Okay, in the similar way you can change it to the spring season as well. You can change the color not just into the green and yellow, you can also change the value into pink, red, blue, any color you want. And also you can change the components of individual segments of the photo. Say here we use the quick selection tool to select the grass uh, and the shrubs in this photo and change it in a different color. The similar way you can select a different thing as well. So here we just move around with this quick selection tool to select some segment of the grass. You can use any other tool like lasso tool or other tool as well. So here we got this right hand side, the grass is being selected, and we'll create a new layer for hue and saturation, and we can change the value of hue and saturation. Okay, so let's try to change it. You can change the individual colors, not just custom color. You can change the value of yellows, greens, the blues, and the reds. Okay, so this grass was generally in the green color. However, it looks like yellow color due to the adjustment layer that we have used. So you can decide the color accordingly, and you can change the value of individual color. You can make it lavender blue, a pink, and red, the yellow. Change it to a different color, and here we got this. uh, Try different colors until you are pretty sure that you have to go with that particular color. Otherwise just keep on trying. You can also create multiple adjustment layer for individual selections and individual masks, and just turn the visibility mode on and off to decide which one you should go. So here we got this little bit red grass on the right hand side. In the similar way we can use the same selection tool, the quick selection tool, here to select the grass on the left hand side, and in this way we can change it to the same color, or you can have a different color. So sometimes in the autumn season you require some leaves to be turned yellow, the golden color, or some leaves could turn, like maple leaves could turn to red color. So in this way you can make a selective adjustment, some trees or some plants to be in yellow, some to be in green, and some could be converted to red or violet, anything like that. So you can not just change the value of entire scene, you can also select an individual mask. Okay, but there could be some difficulties if there are a lot of complexions. So you can zoom in to make a proper selection. So this was an earlier photo, the tropical, and then we apply some mask here, change a value, the adjustment layer, turn it the autumn color, and now we can have this red shrub using the selection tool. We have used two adjustment layers generally speaking, one for the channel mixer to change the value of all the green color into the yellow for autumn season, and an adjustment layer for hue. Try doing this thing on your own photos. Till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating a duotone effect in Photoshop using gradient map adjustment layer. So here we got an image of a migratory bird, and we want to change all the colors of this image into just two colors. So just go to the adjustment layer, and the last option is the gradient map. So just click on this to add a gradient map adjustment layer. You can also add a gradient map by right clicking the layer panel, and different ways. So here we got by default some options, the red, green, the purple, orange, and different colors for duotone. Different photos work in different ways. Say, if you require these images, you can also create a heat map and a different color map. But here we want to create a custom duotone effect, and it can be done very easily. Okay, there's no need for paintbrush or any complex business here. We are just using the gradient map. So here we got these two colors, the violet and the orange. And here we have to just double click the selection color option, and you can change the value of the color. Say, okay, you can change it to the brown. You got these three options. You got to change it to white, and when you double click, you got this entire color spectrum, and you can change the value into different things. So you can change the hue to red, pink, blue, green. The best thing is you should play with the colors. Okay, just be open to experiment with a different color, and based on your color desire, your mood, or your narration of this story that you want to convey with this photo, you can change the color. Say if you want to run a campaign to save migratory birds, you can change the color to green or something like that will appeal people. And if you want to uh, just add something to your just project work, you can change a different color. If you know the color theory well, you can choose a proper color combination. Because we are using a duotone, we can have two colors. So I would prefer using the green color tone here. Uh, so we will be experimenting with a light green and a combination of blue and the yellow. You can go with the overlapping colors. So the blue and the yellow are close to the green. You can experiment with the other colors as well. Although you can add multiple colors into the color spectrum. Um, Here we got this duotone. In the similar way, you can create tritone and more different number of tones. You can use 3 colors, 4 colors, multiple colors, any number of colors you want to have in photo. It will affect the colors based on the darkness and the brightness. So here if you select two different colors, one dark and one bright, so the dark color would affect the shadows and the dark areas of the photo, and the white color will affect the white. So here we choose the two different colors, one yellow and one dark green. We can also change the value of the mid slider, so we can increase the value of greenness or yellowness in the same photo. So you can also add more colors here. Okay, so just experiment. So here we are using a combination of green and yellow. So we will experiment with increasing the green component or the yellow component. So when we increase the value of green component, the photo doesn't look decent. So thus we will try increasing the value of yellow, or just keep it normal here. Okay, you can also individually drag the shadows, the highlights, and the dark and the bright spectrum as well. And once you are done, just hit OK, and the gradient map layer adjustment layer is applied. You can also apply the gradient map adjustment layer multiple times. So if you want to have some advanced customized colors, you can do so. You can turn the opacity and different color options differently. Okay, so if you are just not sure about what color to choose, it's better to just duplicate the original photo, keep it one over another, and just try to apply the gradient map adjustment layer multiple times. Say one with this orange and purple color, and one with the custom color that we have created, the green and yellow shade. And you can have different things. So if you want to take opinion of your friends, or colleagues, and anybody else, you can show them various options that you have created, and then you can decide which option to choose. So try to do this on your own. Play with the gradient map, create amazing duotones, keep learning, and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson, you are going to learn about blending modes in Photoshop. So just open the photos that you want to blend together, because blending is applied over multiple images, two or more images, or two or more layers that are blended together. So here we got the mountains, and this is cloud. And we want to blend this cloud in the way that it looks like it is a fog. So first step is to turn the opacity to the value you want. uh, don't worry, we are just experimenting it here. You will decide the final value later on. So here just choose the blending mode. You can get this option, this is drag top, and you can try the darken, the dissolve, normal, the lighten, soft colors, and different. But I would go with the hard mix, or you can use the linear light as well. So this is the hard mix. It looks like some fog, and let's increase the value of opacity a little bit. And you can also adjust this photo, the cloud, by moving it on the screen. So just select the layer that you want to move, and here you can readjust the blending mode the way you want. Don't go for the lower values because they just destroys the photos. Sometimes it is required in different photography techniques, but here we won't be using it. Just bring this cloud little bit to the ground, and here it looks like it is foggy climate. Let's keep the sky intact because the fog is not in the sky. And here we can get, this is a beautiful mountain range, the mountain village. We got a few crops here, and here we got the fog as well. So adding a fog will emphasize your photo like it is shot in a winter climate. Okay, so for different purpose you can use. So let's bring another photo. This is a barren land, and we can apply this photo to create a composition or something like that. So here just try with this. Here just go to the blending mode. By default it is set to normal, but we can use anything. So let's go with the darken blending mode, and it's look a little bit haunted. Okay, this kind of photo can be used to depict an narration. You can choose a color burn, you can use a darken color. So generally there are the darken categories for the blending mode, the lighten categories, the overlays, and the below are diffusion and just hue, saturation, color controls. Hue saturation can be controlled with the adjustment layer, but this is a blending mode, it's a different thing. So here just keep it to the ground because generally the ground could be barren, not the sky. Okay, so if you want to narrate a story with this image, say if you want to show with the increase of agriculture or human influence, the climate change and different subject can be covered here. Okay, a lot of climatologists that use this kind of photographs use this as a case study to depict some message here, to convey a message that we need to plant more trees, save our environment, the glaciers are melting, and so on. You can use it for various purposes. You can also blend this image as well. You can turn the opacity into different values, experiment it with this. Here we got this image. You can also change the order of the image to influence the blending mode, but it completely depends on your choice. Okay, so always be open to experimentation because no blending mode, no adjustment layer can help you achieve your desired goal on the first attempt. Okay, so you have to take multiple attempts, especially when you are a beginner or you are a learner. Everybody is a learner, nobody is expert. Okay, just believe in this fact. You will get expert with the practice that you do, and the blending mode requires a lot of practice. So you take a different subject here. The objective of this lesson was just to teach you how different blending modes work and how you can do so. Okay, so next we can try applying blending modes in a different way. Say here we can narrate a different story. Here we got this barren land, and we can add this little bit growing grasses in between. So this is like it is a barren land because currently we have degraded or destroyed the environment, but there is a little hope of environment bouncing back. Okay, so the little hope is represented with the grass and agriculture that is growing in between the dents. So compositing is all about narrating a beautiful stories, and Photoshop editors are not just photographers, not just artist. You have to narrate a story with your photographs. You always know that a photo can speak 1,000 words, not just 1,000 words. It can convey an entire message. You can use this skill of storytelling with in the best way with the blending modes, and it's the key thing you should look after this. So just try different blending modes. Here we got these blending modes. You can just categorize. Remember this thing that blending modes are categorized in different things. Here by default it is set to normal. You can dissolve multiple photos, and don't just apply the blending modes, you can use the opacity as well. Okay, so generally the first category is darken categories. You can use the darken categories, you can use the light categories. The screen color dodge. The screen is generally used for neon light and different effects. You're learning later on. And then we get the overlay, the hard light, soft light, the linear light, the hard mix. Okay, they are a little bit different, but they will produce different output. Okay, so generally you have to decide whether you want this fog. Say with the fog we use a linear light. Okay, so we use the overlay category with the almost 80 or 70% opacity. You can change the value of it later on, and you can rearrange the layers accordingly. So here we want the fog to appear on top of our scenery, so we will place the background scene, the mountains and the agriculture, the lower order of these layers, and on the top we want the fog. And we can partially apply the layer as well. You can use the paintbrush and anything else to specifically apply. We want this barren land to be degraded, fog not to reach the sky, just be constrained in the mountain range and the soil. So this was how you can use blending modes. Try on your own, keep learning and keep moving ahead.